Hey everybody, Steve Ritter, back again. Had a little bit of a break, so I'm now. It'll be 1 week tomorrow, and I'll be home. So and I'm gonna go home and take a little leave and go on home and see the ravishing Mrs. Ritter. Bella's home from school, and Benjamin, I'd love to see him, but he's the Coast Guard Academy's got him up in Alaska on a buoy tender in this little small town in Alaska on the coast there. Of course, it's on the coast. It's not inland, not with the Coast Guard. But the I was just in honor of going home, I'm going to make one of my dishes I love to make. Family likes it too, and I'm going to have this for lunch this week. So I'm going to have a brisket and a crock pot. So now, Mom, this was Christmas of 1994. She gave me and Renee and Ernie, she gave all of us, they were on this smoker kick. So they found this electric smoker that you plug in, it's electric, so you plug it in, the heating elements down below, and then you have like a pan on top if you want to like wet smoke, where you put the chips and stuff in, and then the racks, and so her and Bucky were on this big kick with smoking for a while, so they gave us a smoker. So, and they were just gaga over smoked brisket. So I remember that Christmas she gave it to us, and of course I've tried it out, and I cooked it that way for a good, and not very often, but probably for the next few years, and it wasn't probably until we got to Altus. I started cooking it in the crock pot, and you lose a little bit of the smoky, especially if you use wood chips. Well, I guess only if you use wood chips, but I've gotten to where I really like it in the crock pot, because you can put barbecue sauce in it and it just slow cooks in the barbecue sauce, and then it just falls apart. I mean, it's just fall apart. So you can have it over rice. You can have it. I got some sandwich buns and some cheese, and I'm gonna make some sandwiches too that to take into work with is it brisket? I didn't see anything called brisket. This is just beef. I don't know that they have brisket here, and the brisket's the front chest part of the cow. It typically is real tough, so slow cooking it in a crock pot is pretty tasty, and it comes apart real easy, and it's real nice. So now, as far as barbecue sauce goes, I did see some barbecue sauce in the grocery store, but it was that American Garden, like generic off-brand, stuff, and I'm like, I don't know about that. So I did find some HP. So those of you from England or in the UK, HP sauce, House of Parliament sauce, which is very tasty on eggs, I will say. But there's classic barbecue, so I'm going to try it out. The pride of England is at stake. So we're going to try this out with my brisket tomorrow. So we'll see how this goes tomorrow. So I'm going to flip the camera around. I'm going to prep the meat. So that's the day before I'm going to start cooking this in the crock pot. So I'm going to prep it. You don't have to do this. You can just throw it in. And the longer you cook it, the more tender it'll be. I like to do this because I like the taste of I'm going to marinate it in vinegar, and I really like the taste of that. So a little extra work, but it's worth it, I think. So I'm going to flip the camera around, and we'll get cracking. So stand by one. All right, we're back. So this is about a 2.5 pound, and it says it's a boneless beef rump cap. So I'm guessing it's probably off the back rump. But all I did, I just took it out of the pack. I just washed it off a little bit, and kind of got that meaty smell off of it. And I've got a whole head of garlic. All right, so however many cloves that is, and I just kind of cut the garlic up into manageable pieces, because what I like to do, and Mom showed me this trick when we would make roast, is you just kind of cut a hole open in it and cut a slot and just cram the garlic down in it, and I'm going to marinate it in that. So this is pretty tough cut of meat. So it's pretty close to consistency of brisket. So I just cut a slice, and then I just cut a slot, and I just cram garlic down in it. And then I'm gonna do this all the way around and use up, because I'm gonna be here a while. I got a bunch of garlic here, and I do like garlic. So, and just cram it in there. Like I said, we did this. I do this with my beef roast, pot roast in the crock pot. I'll do that. As it cooks, that garlic infuses all in the meat, and of course as it runs out and juices and everything else. So just garlic's just good, and it's good for you, I guess, too. But yeah, Mom and Bucky, they were big on the smokers for a couple of years, and of course our smoker's long gone. I think it got burnt up or something. I used it quite a bit, mostly just to smoke briskets, especially when we were in Oklahoma. You could get brisket pretty easy. It's plentiful and all around. But after Mom had passed, looking through the house and everything, and that her smoker there was still out there, still out in their garage out there. So, brought back some memories. Cooked a lot of meat on that thing. So, anyway, you got the gist here. Go all around, and I'm gonna finish cramming all this in here, and I'll be right back with the next step. All right, so garlic's all in, and it's kind of what it looks like, all crammed in there. It doesn't look pretty, but it sure is gonna taste good. So I got one of these big gallon bags here, a Ziploc bag. Now, originally I bought these for that fishing trip, thinking we were going to be bringing back a whole mess of fish, and alas, it was not to be. So there we go. Just put that in there, fits in there nice. I got to throw the leftover little bits of garlic that I had. Then I'm going to put some salt and pepper in there. Probably call that a teaspoon or so. Already open that. Call it a good teaspoon. And then just got some apple cider vinegar here. Look at that, American Garden. Well, I hope this is all right. Smells like vinegar. I'm just going to dump this in here. See, I've been wondering what I'm going to use the rest of this for, so that's probably, what is that? This 16 ounce. I'd call that was probably 14 ounces of vinegar, so 16 ounce bottle probably do it just nice. And seal it up. I'm going to put it in the fridge overnight, let it marinate for about 12 hours. Or more, so it's about 6 o'clock now. I'll probably throw this on about 10 tomorrow morning. Let it cook all day, and it'll be ready about 6 in the evening. So about 8 hours of cooking. I'll do it just fine. So it's going to marinate overnight, and I'll let some of this air out. And I'm going to put it in the fridge and let it marinate. And so the vinegar, the acid like that, you can use vinegar or any kind of citrus as acidic. It's going to help break the meat down and make it more tender. So kind of swish it around, get it all in there. And then I kind of put it in there and put it in the fridge. So I'm going to go, it goes in the fridge, and then we'll be back tomorrow morning. We'll throw it all in. I'm going to throw it in with some onions and green peppers, and so we'll be right back. Stand by. All right, it's the next morning, and I'm gonna get our meat going here. Got myself some coffee, so no percolated coffee here. It's all this freeze-dried coffee with the kettle. That's the British style, I guess. Anyway, I've got onion, Bella. I'm gonna dice that up. I got some green peppers, bell peppers, just for some color in it. So I'm gonna try that. Normally I don't do that. Normally I just throw the meat in with some barbecue sauce and that's it. But I'm gonna mix it up a little bit, put some vegetables in there because, well, you can always use more vegetables, right? So I'm gonna just chop these up, and this is kind of my technique for cutting a bell pepper. Cut the top off and then kind of work my way around. Cut right along the edge of this the white lining there. Cut my way around, and then I get a little bit here on the bottom. Then I've got the seed core there, and just a minimum of seeds, and then I just pop the hootenanny out here, the stem. Now, you can dice these up or leave them in long slivers, which is what I'm going to do. Just little longer slices here. Slice this up. I will. Well, no, I'll probably cut the onion up in slivers like this too. So normally I have all this done here. I just had the interesting thing I wanted to share with y'all because being here in Abu Dhabi, you've got a whole bunch of different folks that live and work here. You've got folks from Africa and folks from all over, and I was sitting up by the pool the other day and got to talking with this younger guy. And I picked up on his accent, but I'm like, I asked him where he was from, and he said he was Russian. Actually, he said he was Crimean, which was really interesting because he and I over the last week or so talked quite a bit, and just interested in getting his perspective as a Crimean, what he thought of things, because the whole because I was on the headquarters staff at UCOM when the Russian invasion happened back in wherever that was. What was that? 14? The Russians went into Crimea. So it was interesting his perspective on it. And I had heard this a little bit too. I talked with the country desk guys. Ooh, almost threw that in with it. When I was on the staff there and got a little bit, you watch on the news, and when all that was going down, we're real quick to point out Russian aggression and all that kind of stuff. I think people like me, my age and older, that grew up with the Soviet Union and what was going on there, and so I mean we're kind of spring loaded to think that, I guess, but I guess it was in the early 90s after the wall came down. I guess Boris Yeltsin was the president of Russia, and anyway, they basically just kind of parceled off Crimea and gave it to Ukraine. Well, talking to this guy, he's like, well, most of the people that live in Crimea are Russian and obviously Crimean, but they identify as Russian, not Ukrainian, which there's a difference. And the Soviet Union, he was pointing out, was a conglomeration of a bunch of different countries. And I want to make sure I'm getting that. Yeah, I'm in the camera there. A bunch of different countries that kind of came together after World War II, or were pulled together, I should say. But Georgia and Crimea and Ukraine and Belarus and all those countries in that area became the Soviet Union. And anyway, they just kind of parceled off Crimea and said, okay, well, Ukraine, they're under you now. And it got to the point, I guess, and Crimea's like, whoa, hold on now. Don't we get a vote? And they kind of were told, well, that's it. That's the way it is. And then, so Crimea's like, well, we don't really care for these guys, being in their country. We're not Ukrainian. And they were forcing them to learn Ukrainian, which is a different language and a little different than Russian. And they didn't want to learn it. And kind of had a problem with it. And finally Ukraine started playing dirty and saying, well, fine, how do you like having no water and no power? And Crimea got pretty upset about it all. Anyway, his whole point was, people in Crimea are like, hey, we'd rather be Russian than Ukrainian. And I just thought it was interesting because I remember that. And then when the Russians went in, it was like, why is there not like massive? Why is there not a massive, partisan insurgents? Why is there not a big insurgent campaign to resist them? And talking with this guy, he's like, well, that's because they wanted them there, so they'd rather be Russian. So anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting. Now, whether all that, it's obviously his perspective and what he's seeing, and I'm sure that it's a lot more complicated than that. But it's certainly more complicated than just Russia's evil and they invaded. Now all they're on the border now and do all they're doing with Ukraine. Yeah, that's a mess, and that's certainly more complicated. That's the thing. It's rarely black and white. That's what's been my experience, what I've found and seen. Okay, we're ready to toss this in now. So I got my crock pot. I want to make sure you can see it. I got it. Tell you what, I'm going to reset as I put all this in here, so stand by one. All right, back again. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of this barbecue sauce, put a little bit on here. Just kind of get the bottom wet a little. You know what? I've got 3 of these. This is, how much is this? Looks like about a 8 or 10 ounce bottle. It doesn't say. HP, come on. Oh, it's 465 grams. It does smell like good old barbecue sauce. Now, you can use whatever your flavor is. I was tempted with some honey flavored barbecue. I'm kind of partial to the smoky kind myself. So I'm going to put some of these onions in here and peppers. So I got 2 bell peppers, 1 onion. Now remember, we put the garlic in the meat. So I'm going to now normally I would I'm going to put about an ounce of this vinegar in here because I like that barbecue. That gives it a nice tang flavor to it. I'll put the meat in here, fat side up, and make sure then I'm going to just kind of cover it with the rest of the vegetables. And now I want to make sure I get the all the garlic out of here. Try to catch this. Get all the garlic in there because I love garlic. All right, let's put the next. And just kind of cover it all in barbecue sauce. Put the rest of the veggies in here. Now, I'm thinking I'm going to cook this all day, and I'm thinking it's going to be about 6 o'clock tonight, so it's almost 10 now. I'm gonna give it a good, well, I'm gonna check on it in about 6 hours, and I'm gonna cook it on low for the first first hour or so. And then I'm gonna put it on low. So high for the first hour, then low. So now the liquid's gonna cook out of those peppers and onions, and we'll get a little bit of the fat off the meat as it cooks. And it should mix all in with the sauce and the garlic and everything else. So, you know, can let this sit for a little bit. Again, you could put a little splash of vinegar in here and shake it out to get all that good barbecue sauce out. That's one way to do it also. Pretty much this worked out pretty good. Get all this goodness out of here. There you go. So that's a whole nother tablespoon out. That's good. So again, cook it, and then about 6 hours. Then I'm going to test its how tender it is, and if it starts falling apart, then I want to kind of break it up and mix it in with all the sauce and everything else. And really, that's what I'm looking to do. So top goes on, and we'll check back in about 6 hours and see how we're doing. So we'll be right back. All right, let me check on this, see how we're doing now. So it's been 6 hours, and I can, looking at the outside here, you can see there's plenty of liquid. I'm thinking, well, I'm really curious how tender this. Let's turn your smell-o-visions on now. You can see the meat's cooked. I'm just really curious how tender it is now. Oop, look at that. It's just fall apart already. So 6 hours. It's look at this. Watch this. Look at that. It's just fork tender already. Look at that. See that? So that'll shred up nice. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to let it cook a little bit longer. Go ahead and we'll flip this over. There's plenty of sauce. Almost too much. So too much to mix that. So when the time comes, put this back on here. When the time comes, I'm going to here in another couple hours. I think I'll let it cook on low for a little bit longer, and then I'm going to take it out separately, pour off some of that sauce, and then because I don't want a soup. So anyway, we'll be back here in an hour or two. So stand by one. All right, back again. So here we go. Time to take this out. Turn on your smell-o-vision now, man. That smells great. Now, literally, I got off the elevator like 100 feet down the hallway, and I could smell it all up and down the hallway. I feel sorry for my fellow guests here at the hotel. I'm going to smell this all day. But meat's fully cooked. I'm trying to get this out of here. One piece. I'll put it in this little pot here. I'm going to put it in this pot, shred it up. So try to get it out in one piece, and see if I can do that. There we go. There's the meat, and you can see the peppers and the onions and all cooked down as well. So I'm gonna get to those here in a second. I'm gonna just get in here with this meat, if you can see it. Yeah, and I'm gonna you can see the garlic's in here as well, and you can see it just falls apart. It's just fork tender. See that? That's gonna go on the sandwich real nice. Now, lots of juice, way more than I need. So you can, I'll just strain a little bit of that off. You can have it a little bit with rice. Like I said, I got some bread here. I'm gonna put it on a sandwich, and see, it just falls apart. Look at that. It just fork tender. That's the beauty of a crock pot here. So got my sandwich here. So it's just some white bread, sesame roll, and it's Edam cheese, so which is kind of a milder white cheese. Provolone worked nice with this too. I'll put some of this on here. And I'll put, this is my dinner tonight and lunch all week. Very nice. Look at that. See that? I'm going to put strain some peppers out of here. Also some of the garlic and some onions. And there's my sandwich. How's that look? Now I'm going to turn this around and y'all can watch me eat it. So stand by one. All right, back again. So here it is. Finished product. Very nice. Again, this works great with brisket. Some of the tougher cuts of meat too. Works real nice. So here we go. Big bite here. Oh, that's heavenly. Mm. Sorry. That is tasty. Don't try to breathe it. Woo! So, barbecue sauce, I use barbecue sauce. You'd probably use tomato sauce too. And the garlic in it is great. It smells heavenly, believe me. This is great. You're going to want to make this. So, this is Colonel signing off. We'll see you next time. Take care.